So there isn't really a person causing the conflict here. It's just a dragon is being a jerk and they have to go stop him. So I'm just going to put it in the other category. You could give it to Fluttershy here, but Fluttershy is just scared and traumatized and isn't trying to cause these problems. She isn't being a bad friend, she's literally just scared. And everyone else is being relatively reasonable other than Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash doesn't cause more problems by being mad at Fluttershy, so it's not really a bad friend thing. It's not a problem thing. So we're just going to give it to other. We start this episode with Fluttershy doing what I presume is her morning routine, and that is taking care of a bunch of animals around her abode. She even suffers through holding raw fish and worms in her mouth to give them what they need. Her dedication to her furry friends is on full display. We also get more development for Angel Bunny, also known as the most irritating and unlikable monster in the show, the true villain of villains. We see, for the first and definitely not last time, that Angel is a spoiled brat that gives Fluttershy a hard time all the time out of sheer selfishness and pettiness. Only putting that aside when there's a really good reason, such as this episode's plot, a massive smog cloud coming from the mountains. Lyra 14. Also here we see another flaw of Fluttershy's, which is the obvious she has no outside voice. Everyone doesn't hear or pay attention to her when she is trying to get help for the giant smog cloud. Also Bonbon 17 and Derpy 11. I don't remember who pointed it out to me, but here's human setting Lyra. Why is she lounging like a human? How doesn't it hurt like hell? I don't know, but someone showed it to me once, and now I'm cursing you with that knowledge. Fluttershy's being ignored because she's so quiet. We did see in episode 1 how she was able to shout with the Manticore, and I think I'm starting to narrow down on her shyness. Around the main 6, she's more open to raising her voice or expressing her opinion, but in these open spaces she really struggles, which only brings into question the fact that she gave a speech in apple bucking season for, no reason, and that's just really weird to me. Her shyness might just be a plot device rather than a character trait. Also something I noticed is Lyra and Bonbon are actually looking very wholesomely at each other, and this might be their first meeting where they become friends. I don't think I saw them together in any scene prior to this, other than as separate entities living their own lives, so maybe this is canonically their first meeting. I don't know. Twilight reveals that the smoke Fluttershy saw is coming from a dragon, which surprises everyone. Makes sense considering the only dragon any of them have seen is Spike, and they don't usually travel this far, dragons that is, into Equestria. However, Fluttershy seems genuinely excited and happy to meet Spike because she had never seen a dragon before. Now that she has the opportunity to meet another one, she's suddenly terrified. It's likely linked to Spike being a baby and less scary than a full-grown one, but we don't really know. Also, something I noticed, why is Twilight being given such reverence and authority? I mean, I guess they saw her talking casually with Princess Celestia and everything, but Celestia was being pretty kind and talking to everyone at that point. And every time we see Celestia, she's just super nice and kind to everyone. So it's a little weird. I guess they realize she's the student now and they're trying to treat her with a little bit of respect, but it's never been established at all in any of these episodes that Twilight is suddenly a figure of authority in the town. Also, Mayor Mayor is nowhere to be seen in this episode. Another question that why she was even introduced. Twilight also reveals that the dragon is sleeping and the smoke is caused by him snoring. Don't know how they know that already, but we'll just take her word for it. Everyone else is confused. Pinkie actually shows genuine concern for the dragon's health, thinking, why is the smoke black? Maybe he's hurt, maybe he's sick. She's way more caring than I remember her from these early episodes, and it's very disappointing to see where she goes. Apparently, Celestia is giving the mission of asking the dragon to relocate to Twilight and her friends, probably as part of Twilight becoming a friendship ambassador or some shit like Celestia wants. But this is way more dangerous than anything Nightmare Moon did. A fully grown dragon is a massive and threatening creature, and all of the information ponies have on them is that they're aggressive. Probably not the smartest move considering no one knows about Fluttershy's stare yet, even Fluttershy because it's invented in this episode, but good lord, this is the dumbest plan. So how does everyone prepare to deal with a dragon? Rainbow puts on some battle paint, Applejack grabs some food, Pinkie Pie grabs balloons, Rarity grabs a hat, and Fluttershy grabs everything but the kitchen sink. We can really see how out of their depth they are. I mean, honestly, even Celestia thinks that a dragon can be negotiated with. She doesn't know what level of dragon they're dealing with even. And as we're going to see, it's a full adult dragon. Some very sus decisions are being made by everyone involved, except for Fluttershy, who was the only one genuinely concerned about all of this. Also, we're going to have a lot of saddlebag continuity in this episode. Rarity currently doesn't have one. She's about to have one. Well, as I said, Rarity now has saddlebags, and if you remember the previous scene, Pinkie now has none, despite having some in the previous one. Twilight, for the most part, almost abandons the mission before Twilight mentions that her skills with wild animals will come in handy, despite the fact that dragons and even cows are sentient in this world, and they all know that, which means they either have even less details than I thought, or there are feral versions of various species. Also, Spike is left at home to take care of Fluttershy's friends, which is a good way to keep the baby safe, although maybe having a dragon around would have been helpful, but it would be unlikely based on what we know about dragons. And Fluttershy gets ignored once again. The theme of Fluttershy finding her inner voice is going to be a major one for this episode and some of the future ones. Thankfully, her friends start taking notice of her words in future episodes instead of brushing her off. Rainbow even mentions that Fluttershy is scared and should stay behind not to slow them down. Harsh, but fair. And Twilight ignores Rainbow's input and Fluttershy's body language, claiming that she's just nervous. Kind of putting words in her mouth there, Twilight. She's still new at this, so I'll give her a pass, but Twilight's really dropping the ball in this episode. I mean, if you look at their facial expressions, it says everything. Twilight is looking confident because this is her first mission given by Celestia, and she wants to do the best, so she's going to be overly confident and not expect anything to go wrong. And Rainbow Dash just looks annoyed that Twilight isn't heeding her counsel on her friend that she's known longer than her. So, not great. Oh hey, Pinky's saddlebags are back, and they all look very determined and ready to face a dragon large enough to blacken equestrian skies. And yet, when they arrive, well, you'll see. Despite knowing the dragon is asleep, they decide to hold Rainbow back from scouting the way forward. Safety is good and all, but do they really think a massive dragon would be fast enough to catch Rainbow if something went wrong? Also, it's asleep, and as long as Rainbow doesn't do something stupid... You know what? Never mind. Solid plan. Rarity talks about getting jewels from the Dragon Horde. Yeah, okay, they are horribly uninformed, and that makes Celestia putting them on this mission even more suspect. This is also an insane incline. They're not goats. Could ponies really do this? Earth ponies maybe, but the unicorns would have trouble, right? Am I crazy? I'm still pretty sure that's not how wings work. Twilight once again thinks dragons are wild animals despite Spike existing. Did ponies think they're superior and the only civilized creatures? Do they think that Spike is only able to talk and be civil entirely because of their influence? That's pretty fucked up, not gonna lie. Are ponies racist? Speciesist? Rainbow tells Fluttershy to just fly up if she's scared of climbing the steep hill, and Pinky is generally being supportive and trying to encourage her, propping Fluttershy up to give her courage. Sure hope she keeps doing that as the series goes on and not, the opposite. Here we see the beginning of a common trait among Pegasi specifically. Their wings will generally respond to their emotions. Obviously, they can use them during speech to put emphasis on things like hands, but when they're afraid, they close up, and when they're excited, they might spread out. A neat detail that's generally pretty consistent throughout the series. I did mention them not being goats, but Fluttershy just faints like one, so maybe I'm wrong. Also, Applejack volunteers to take her on a safer path to make her feel better. Wholesome as heck that she do that for her. But also, with how important the mission is, I feel like Rainbow could have just carried her, or even Applejack herself for that matter. Rarity and Pinky played 35 games of tic-tac-toe, and Rarity lost all of them in a row. Rarity might be stupid, or Pinky is just a master of games, which would track with her need to have fun. Though winning the games would make other ponies disappointed or even temporarily unhappy, which means you would think Pinky would hold back and let them win, but no, she demolishes Rarity without a single bit of remorse. Okay, the wing thing is bugging me. How many times has this happened and I just never noticed? They don't work like this. I know perspective is everything, but the length of this gap appears far larger than it ends up being. See here? It's probably from Fluttershy's perspective, so we see things how she does, but it's not very well demonstrated, but it's a good way to, visualize her fears by showing us what she sees, but they didn't really communicate that properly. Oh well. Twilight tells them they're in an avalanche zone and to be quiet, so Fluttershy shouts immediately when a leaf falls on her. She usually does a little shriek, but no, she just shouts avalanche at the top of her lungs. Applejack is at least on the ball. However, Applejack is actually not even close to Fluttershy to get there before someone else should have. Pinky might not care and want the chaos, but this is season 1, Pinky cares a lot more, so it's a bit weird. And Rarity is right there! Even weirder. Rainbow is the only one who didn't panic, which I think is consistent since she tends to want to act first and think later, so she wasn't thinking, I'm in danger, she was thinking, time to dodge. Or she wasn't thinking it, but she was just doing it. Also, Applejack saves Twilight from becoming glue. Applejack is just fucking on top of it this day, really making up for her failings in apple booking season, so, good on her. Fluttershy apologizes for the avalanche and is pretty quickly forgiven. It seems like ponies are quick to forgive. Even Applejack was forgiven after apple booking season, when she was a jerk to everyone. A little funny that Fluttershy can almost kill everyone and be forgiven, but Gilda can be a douche and get exiled. Was it because she's a griffin? Are ponies racist? Or just intolerant? Granted, Gilda deserved everything she got, but I more mean they should be a bit more upset with Fluttershy. They consider her very sensitive, so maybe they expected it and just roll with the punches. I could probably go on a rant about this for a while, so I'm just going to stop before I gaslight myself into thinking ponies are unironically racist. Now that all being said, Rainbow is actually very peeved at Fluttershy, which is nice. Rarity is also apologizing for no reason. Seems like everyone except for Rainbow is dancing around Fluttershy's feelings and sensitivities, which being considerate to your friends is good and all, but this is life and death right here. They finally reach the summit, and just now are they divvying out their roles. Pinky and Rarity being on rodeo clown duty, if things go south, is very fitting and hilarious because they're both eye-catching in different ways. Rarity's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? All around great. Applejack's job is to attack the dragon with apples if it gets angry. Yeah, great plan. All of their saddlebags disappear for no real reason other than that they arrive at their destination and the animators are tired of drawing them. And you could just say they put them down, but they also put them back on at a seemingly random time, so I don't believe it. He explains that she's scared of dragons. First of all, Spike. Second of all, that's just a smart fear. Also, yeah, Spike is probably an exception for being a baby. When she meets him in episode 1, she specifies baby dragons. Odds are, the smaller the critter, the better she is with it, ignoring the bear that appears later. Also, you can catch a glimpse of Pinky back here, being super supportive, like always, showing genuine concern, that thing that she's gonna do forever and ever and ever. whatever. Rainbow brings up that Fluttershy just ran up to the Manticore in episode 1, a point I should have made before now, and it wasn't a problem, which her only rebuttal is, but it's not a dragon. Finally, Pinkie brings up Spike, which finally reveals that Fluttershy is just being logical, and that the size, fire, and appetite of a fully grown dragon is way more terrifying than Spike or a Manticore, which is fair. Twilight asks why she didn't mention this sooner, and instead of saying, "You didn't listen to me," which they didn't, she says that she was afraid, which makes Rainbow groan because it's another fear thing, and Rainbow is upset that Fluttershy is afraid of everything. Yet Applejack explains that everyone, except for Rainbow apparently, is afraid of that dragon because of everything she said. But Celestia told them to do it, and so they shall. The pony's fervent desire to please Celestia is borderline cult behavior. The all-powerful Alicorn should probably be doing this herself. Defeated by her fear, Fluttershy just leaves them to do it without her. Well, she's not the element of loyalty, so that's probably fine. The group decided to go ahead without her anyway, as Rainbow wanted to begin with. I bet this will work out great. They definitely won't need her help. Just to clarify, she doesn't actually leave the mountain or anything, she just goes to hide. The long necks return. Twilight introduces herself and provides her name, address, and social security number to the dragon, before politely asking him to fuck off. Yeah, this went great. Rarity rolls to seduce the dragon while also rolling to steal from his hoard. Ooh, double ones, how unfortunate. I didn't realize this was the first appearance of this outfit. I thought it was its own unique thing in the future episode where it reappears, so it's nice to see that this is the origin. Nice callback. Well, this is the intro, but it'll be a callback when we get there. Rarity, that's not how hooves work. Are you okay? The element of laughter has failed to quell the dragon's rage. Rainbow kicks the dragon in the face. Good plan, Rainbow, good plan. Oh hey, the saddlebags are back. See what I mean about them reappearing with no real reason? Instead of incinerating them with fire, the dragon knocks them all back with smoke, except Fluttershy, who had been hiding behind a rock. Fluttershy reveals her Saiyan heritage and activates her rage boost, so now she can suddenly shout at a respectable volume at the massive dragon, all because her friends are moaning and groaning under her hooves and she can't tolerate that. It is unironically nice that Fluttershy can't stand up for her friends when they need it, so that's good. Fluttershy gives the stink eye to the dragon and rolls to intimidate. Nice. The dragon reveals it is indeed intelligent and can talk, and expresses annoyance that Rainbow Dash kicked it in the face. Fluttershy apologizes on Rainbow's behalf, and explains that he is a big fuck-off dragon and shouldn't have been that affected, nor should he be causing health problems for everyone around him with his smoke. All in all, laying down the law, and just explaining to him that he's kind of being an asshole, and he's like, yeah, okay, I get it, fine. With the dragon leaving, the Pegasi fix their town, revealing that Pegasi can also manipulate unnatural weather phenomena, such as cloud smoke produced by a living creature, which is interesting, I guess. Also, we have Bonbon 18 and Derpy 12. Twilight's letter to Celestia this time reads, "Have faith in your friends as they can help you overcome anything, even your worst fears." Pretty solid, though they're preaching loyalty in the Kindness Ponies episode. A little weird, but it got spunk. I also don't have any counterpoint or criticism other than, scrutiny is still good in moderation. Trust is great, but don't let it be blind, To close out our episode, Pinkie and company traumatize Rainbow to prove that she is afraid of the dragon, even though I think that was already established when she got wrecked by it. Does get her to admit her fear briefly before trying to brush it off, but in the future words of Fluttershy, baby steps, everyone, baby steps. All in all, what about Dragonshy? I'm gonna be real, unlike the Gilda episode where going into a deep dive made me appreciate it more, this episode's still kind of mid to me. I really don't like it. It's not like there's anything bad in it, so I'm only gonna give it a 4, but it doesn't do anything. And it makes all the characters either really dumb or overly forgiving. It just does a lot of weird stuff that I'm not a fan of. Oh well. We have been getting some good Pinkie Pie stuff though, so we're eating good at least on that front. We might as well get it while we can anyway.